Coming up on TekThing, Pydio, Seafile, OwnCloud, Sparkleshare, Tonido. What is a personal cloud anyhow? Big storage fails, which hard drives last longest, the $2 pocket tripod, and some sick Bluetooth speakers. All coming up next on TekThing. Today's show is brought to you by iFixit, introducing the all-new ProTech Toolkit to give you the compact and complete toolkit for all things DIY. For $5 off your purchase of $10 or more, go to iFixit.com/TekThing and use the code TekThing at checkout.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we make technology behave.
Especially today.
Especially today because everything is awesome, right?
Everything is cool when you're part of the team. And please, Lego or whoever, no takedown notices for that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're not singing it. We're just sharing the lyrics.
That might be enough. It's hard to tell.
Cheating.
Complicated era in the whole online whatever. Josh writes, since apparently I have no language. Hi, Patrick and Shannon. I think it would be beneficial to talk about some personal cloud solutions. A lot of us have computers in our homes with tons of storage space with our files on it already. Instead of having to upload those files to a Dropbox, Google Drive, etc., it seems much easier to just roll your own cloud. I've been using Tonido for years, but perhaps there is something better. I've heard about Pydio, Seafile, OwnCloud, Sparkleshare, etc. Tonido has been okay, but I don't like their mobile app. Having to download the files I might just want to quickly view instead of just previewing them quickly is kind of a pain. Anywho, a roundup of those solutions would be great. Thanks a lot. Been following you all for years and years. Josh from Seattle. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you so much. So as he did mention, of course, these are all personal cloud solutions that don't use a company server. And that's the big draw of them, is that they aren't using a company server.
So this would be a lot like BitTorrent Sync.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you're syncing from like one computer over to another computer that you own, or something, or maybe one off-site that one of your family members owns at their house.
If I could be a smartass for a moment.
Sure.
So you're not storing your files on their servers. You're just using their networked system where they can look at all the bits as they pass through.
Well, we hope that they are encrypted before they're even officially starting transfer, so that you know, encrypt them on your computer before even uploading to anywhere. But yeah, you're just transferring from one computer to another using an application. Luckily, the ones that I've used, they're open source, so that makes me really happy because they have been audited by multiple people in InfoSec, so that's always a good thing. But these are going to let you store multiple files across multiple different devices, and a lot of times there isn't a limit on how many devices you can use it on for your account. So the one that I have used is called OwnCloud. It is free for personal use with your own server, so you would create your server out of a PC that you own, and it could be any computer. The mobile app is for iOS, Android, and BlackBerry, but it doesn't let you preview. So you're still going to have to actually download that file to your mobile smartphone to view it, which is unfortunate because you might not have a lot of space on your mobile phone.
In some cases, that's because they have to transcode the file to turn it into something that your smartphone can actually look at or view.
So a lot of people just make you download it. So I do like OwnCloud though, because there is a Linux client for your computer, but it's also Mac and Windows compatible, and you can sync not only regular files, but also things like calendars and your contacts, which is very, very useful. Now OwnCloud is open source, another perk of it, and it works on a Raspberry Pi, and they do have third-party apps too. So they have third-party apps that will make it connect to providers like Dropbox. So you aren't necessarily stuck in like the OwnCloud negaverse. You can use multiple other applications with it.
You can like link and link and link.
Yeah.
An infinite number of backups across an infinite number of universes.
Tonido is the one that he mentioned. So this one has mobile apps for Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and BlackBerry. Woohoo! But you do have to download files to view them.
This is a theme.
That's unfortunately. Yeah, so it does work on the Raspberry Pi as well, and there is a Linux desktop app for it. Everything is over at tonido.com. It isn't 100% open source in this case. They've been very back and forth about it. So it's a platform built on open source software but some of the apps that use Tonido might be closed source. Kind of confusing, but it's not 100% open source, so keep that in mind.
You could say that about the software on your Android phone.
I could, yeah. Google's the same exact way, exactly. Yeah. So you're putting trust in a system in that sense. Pydio is the other one that he mentioned. That one is open source. It is available on Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android. The Pydio app does let you preview files before downloading them. Really, really cool. But many users have had a problem with the app weirdly truncating names of files, so it's really hard to find the file that they're actually looking for on their smartphone.
Hate that.
There is a free version. It looks like you have to pay money, but if you go over here to the community section, the community page, and scroll down a little bit, you'll find that they do have downloads for stable releases that are free for home use. Yay, and it does work on a Raspberry Pi as well. I like that all of these work on Raspberry Pis. It's pretty exciting.
Nice.
I feel like I should set one up on a Raspberry Pi and do a build video for it.
I have just the thing for that. We'll talk about that later.
Then we have Seafile. That one is free. It's open source for the community edition. They also tout their nice enterprise edition too. It's Linux, Mac, Windows, Android, iOS, and Raspberry Pi capable. They even have a terminal client, so if you want to run this on a server that doesn't have a head to it, then you can definitely do that, which is really cool.
Odroid C2.
Yeah, and you do have to download the files to view them on mobile too. And then lastly, we have Sparkleshare. So Sparkleshare, I call this the geek's choice. It's at sparkleshare.org. It's totally free, totally open source. There are downloads for Mac, Linux, and Windows, but no mobile apps whatsoever. Nothing. So if you're using a personal cloud to like share your code, so for example, they're like setting up a host. Here, this is what you need to write in your terminal. It's for a geek. This is great if you want to use this to share code because it does tie in with GitHub and Bitbucket too, nice. Which is very, very cool. But if you want to use it just to share like photos and stuff, yeah, you could do that, but it might not be the best choice since you can't access that stuff on mobile without like setting up probably like your own FTP.
Sparkleshare sounds like somebody put it together for their development team,
yes.
And then it just
That's
grew
exactly
from
what
there.
they did.
Got it.
So it actually came together at a Hackfest. Surprise, surprise.
Nice.
And there are other ones, of course, too.
Right.
There's Crashplan. That one's very businessy, but they do have services available for you to upload to multiple computers that you own.
Right.
That one comes to mind. I'm not sure if there's other ones outside of that. I'm sure there are. You guys probably use them now and again, so let me know if you have any other suggestions on ones that we should check out. We'll definitely take a look at them. Otherwise, I think that's it.
BitTorrent Sync.
BitTorrent Sync, yes, that one.
Yeah.
That's your favorite, huh?
Yeah, well, I like it.
I like OwnCloud.
There are so many options to roll your own cloud.
You can always tweet us at TekThing, at Snubs, and at Patrick Norton with your choices.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 23-year-old keyboard, and I'm popping in a fresh spacebar after a benchtop accident, and it'll keep going for years. This one over here, found it at a garage sale, needs a new controller, and I got that coming. Folks, that is the iFixit way. Keep your gear running, save money, keep stuff out of the landfill, get your money's worth or more. They're sponsoring this episode, in case you didn't know. And iFixit.com is your complete DIY electronic repair solution, from their 19,000 free step-by-step repair guides to the huge inventory of replacement parts and tools with lifetime warranty. iFixit has got your repair needs covered.
So what happened with this?
With this one?
Yeah.
It got knocked off the workbench and landed on the vise that was next to the workbench in a way that cracked the spacebar.
Aww.
It happens.
And then how are you going to crack this open?
Why, I'm going to crack that open with the same thing I've used to fix laptops, smartphones, my toilet, parts of my car, my wife's vintage sewing machines, and oh so many more.
That would be the iFixit all-new ProTech Toolkit.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this thing is easier to use and the tools are easier to access. It now includes the new 64-bit driver kit, which replaced the former 54-bit driver kit. More durable case magnets. The 64-bit kit itself is held to the tool roll using magnets, as is the shell cover. It's easier to use, longer lasting, and I'm gonna say it's cooler. More bits means fewer repair roadblocks. A newly redesigned swivel top precision driver, a wider variety of plastic opening tools and picks to safely work on tablets and smartphones, and there's a suction cup for display assembly removal. And the best part, in my opinion, it's backed by iFixit's lifetime warranty. So you can buy it because it's awesome, or don't and you still get free access to all the free repair resources on iFixit.com.
Do yourself a favor, grab an all-new ProTech Toolkit and make repair behave. save. Just head over to iFixit.com/TekThing and use the code TekThing, TekThing at checkout to save $5 off your order. Thanks, iFixit.
It's time for a Bluetooth speaker roundup. We are looking at B&W's T7, KEF's Muo. Yes, it is Muo.
There's a reason for that.
Libratone's Zipp and Riva's Turbo X. They're pretty pricey. All of them are around 300 or so, but oh man, I gotta say, personally, they sounded really good.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? You can pick up like a Bluetooth speaker in a cereal box these days, it seems like, right?
You really
$19 Bluetooth speaker. It sounds like a $19 Bluetooth speaker because it's made with like $2 worth of parts. So these are all, two of these companies are known as speaker manufacturers. That would be B&W and KEF, and two are consumer electronic manufacturers that are out to take names and kick ass. That would be Libratone and Riva. Okay. All of them were way better than I expected. Let me be perfectly honest. I like desktop. I like full-size desktop.
You like
speakers.
hardcore speakers.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing around with KEF's Egg, which is amazing. Yeah. I have had on and off for years full-size, bookshelf speakers on my desktop. Yeah. I like desktop speakers better than all of these. But let's be honest, it is a righteous pain in the ass to drag an amp, speakers, and a big honking extension cord around the house.
So true.
Yes, or not to mention into the backyard or to the beach. And man, Bluetooth has gotten really, really good in the last few years. But all of these support Bluetooth and aptX. I'm not sure aptX is the advantage it used to be over Bluetooth if you have especially the latest like Bluetooth 4.0. But it is nice to have if your phone supports it. And we're going to go through them in alphabetical order.
So B&W is first.
The T7. I think, was this your favorite?
I think so. This one was like my favorite all-around speaker.
So it's an interesting speaker design, right? The micro matrix honeycomb, there's a lot of plastic in this. If I hold it at just the right, oh, there it is. You can see kind of through it. There's this crazy honeycomb
really cool.
that supports the speaker. There's two 50mm drive units inside of it and twin base radiators, one in the back, one in the front. Really nice sound, as you'd expect from B&W. They're this incredibly reputable speaker manufacturer. Excellent vocals, surprisingly loud and much more bass than we actually expected. That said, I think it sounded best at mid to low volumes. As you started getting up towards house party levels, it started to get a little something.
Yeah, I get that.
Strident, I think, is the audio reviewer word. but the vocals seem to start to thin out, and I did particularly at high volumes, not the best. Sitting on your desktop at reasonable volumes, outstanding.
Cool.
Requires its own charger, no USB charging, but we're looking at like 18 hours life. I hit like 15 hours on it. No speakerphone, because this is for listening to music.
Well, honestly, how many times do you use a speakerphone with a Bluetooth speaker, though? For me, the only time I ever use it is if I'm really lazy and somebody calls me and I'm like, oh, I'm already Bluetooth connected. I guess I'll just, connect to the speaker.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. $349 MSRP, which is pretty much what it streets for, and it's a free 60-day return. So if you want to try it out, see if you like it, and return it, that is an option.
Awesome.
KEF Muo, from the designer that brought you KEF's $200,000 Muon speakers. This thing is dense. It feels expensive, right?
I feel like I should carry it in my purse whenever I'm in the bad part of the neighborhood.
So you can beat people with it? Well, it also, the construction on this, it feels expensive, right? The holes in the aluminum here were drilled, not molded or formed. They put a lot of work into this. There's dual 50mm UniQ drivers, which are like the UniQ driver is kind of their expensive, incredible imaging driver. There's no discrete tweeter or mid, but they basically varied the stiffness of the material across the driver. Quote, the tweeter dome is decoupled from the outer dome by a flexible membrane. There's also a single base radiator in between the two. I would like more low end on this speaker.
Yeah.
I did not realize that until I heard the other speakers in this roundup. What's here is excellent. This is the most compact speaker of all these, so it's great for travel, and the vocals and highs are fantastic. You can pair with it by NFC. You can also pair it with a second speaker using the app. Turning it vertically from horizontal tweaks the DSP for the output on the speaker, because they assume if it's down here, it's probably on a desk and there's a hard surface, so they adjust the audio.
That's neat.
I also realized I don't particularly enjoy pairing Bluetooth speakers because you get pretty amazing audio out of it, and you usually have to manually reconfigure the stereo every time you move them around.
Oh, yeah.
Available in gunmetal, sunset orange, racing blue, gold, and silver. No speakerphone, about 12 hours of battery life, $300 on the street. And they now have a little matching battery that goes along with this, 9,000 milliamp hour battery that has sort of the same sort of style and shape, and that's available for $50.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good one.
I liked Libratone Zipp a lot more than I expected to.
Really?
Well, you know what I mean? It's got a carrying strap. It's got removable. This is, let me be honest, right? When you see like removable colors, like fashion covers and carrying straps on speakers, that's usually a sign that they're thinking a lot more about design aesthetics than they are about the actual audio. The more I listened to it, the more I liked it, right? So they have what they call their 360-degree full room sound.
It's definitely 360 degree.
Yeah, you can walk around it. It sounds really good on all sides. I mean, they all sort of radiate sound in all directions, but this one sounded really good. There's a 4-inch woofer inside of this one, 2 1-inch tweeters, and 2 4-inch passive radiators. So they say it's 5 speakers, but it's really 3 speakers and 2 passive radiators. Really did the best job of filling a room from the center. You know what I mean? If you want to walk around the house and have music in the room, this did a really fantastic job. Like I mentioned or mocked, and I apologize, swappable zip-off covers. It is nice to be able, we change pillow covers in my house seasonally, so who am I mocking? You can, in theory, you can wave the hand over the Nightingale button to mute. It didn't really work for me. The Nightingale, there's a power switch on the back. And then there's the Nightingale button.
It took me a while to understand how to use that thing.
It takes some getting used to. I hated it.
Yeah.
The more I use the speaker, the more I like it. The Nightingale button was frustrating because you sort of, you go like this to do the volume and up. And the truth is, I usually use my phone to adjust volume or skip and stuff like that. Interesting thing about this, you can link up to 6. It works in party mode around your house, or you can set them up 2 in stereo. That requires a Libratone app. It's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and it works as a speakerphone if you answer via pressing the Nightingale button. $300 on the street, 30-day returns. So again, something you can try before you buy.
And number 4.
Riva's Turbo X. So you can kind of see, you can just kind of see the speakers inside of there. 3 full-range drivers, 4 dual piston bass radiators or bass radiators, and the turbo button, which is right here with the blue T. It sounds silly, right? But it adds 7 decibels in volume.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, you hit T and it gets really loud.
Oh yeah.
It also drops the battery life down to 6 hours.
Yeah,
so
plummets.
this is like the dorm room house party box.
That thing got so loud.
So loud and so much bass for a box this size. It's also kind of, in some ways, the biggest, well, not the biggest one here compared to the Libratone, but fairly big. So there's a surround mode, so it gives you a wider sound stage. Best bass of the bunch. Audio, probably not quite as natural as KEF or the Bluetooth.
No, definitely not.
But you know what I mean? If, depending on what you're listening to, you probably don't care. If you're listening for sort of the nuanced work of Yo-Yo Ma's cello, you're probably going for a KEF or a B&W. If you're rocking out or playing some EDM, you'll be really happy with this. The surround mode, like I mentioned, really fills a room. You wave your hands over the buttons to get them to light, except when there they go, on camera. It's available in shiny black or shiny white. Echo cancellation on the speakerphone works nice, so if speakerphone is a big deal for you, this is a good choice. Rated for 26 hours of battery life.
Wow.
It also comes with your own charger and a little sticker that says, hey, push the red button to charge on the back. That would be the red button on the back. Okay. $300, $30 if you want the carrying case. All of these sound fantastic. They all sound a little bit different.
Ooh. Who do you pair with?
I don't know. Could be you, could be me. We've both been using these.
That's true.
Oh, it's not going to do the turbo gunning the accelerator mode unless it's plugged in. In any case, let us know if you have questions or thoughts, and we're always open for business if you email ask@tekthing.com.
We got an email from Brent who wrote ask@tekthing.com. Hi Shannon and Patrick. I built a computer a little over a year ago and the 2 terabyte Seagate pipeline hard drive that I chose suddenly died 14 months into the life of the system. Luckily, I have a 256 gig solid state drive that the operating system lives on, and I have backups of everything else, so I'm okay there. Ooh, that's good. I am in the process of looking for a replacement hard disk drive to store my files files and games, but I want to make sure I get a reliable drive. I'd like to get at least 2 terabytes and get the best bang for my buck. Any recommendations? Thanks for everything you do. Thank you so much, Brent.
Yeah.
We do have recommendations.
Yeah, and by the way, congrats for having that backup so you didn't lose any data.
Thank you for backing up your data.
Want to give them the TLDR?
Okay, so TLDR, you want to buy Western Digital Blue or Black?
Yeah, for a desktop.
What I got at home for my 4 terabyte, still running, even though I built that gaming rig like long time ago last year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, look, first up, any drive can die at any time or be stolen, lost, torched in a fire, crushed by an earthquake. You get the idea here. That said, statistically, most drives live on for years. I've got one that's been running for at least 5, maybe 7 years now, though, hey, you might take the end of the warranty period as it's time to start thinking about replacing this critter, and definitely make sure it's backed up suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a pretty amazing thing, and we've talked about it on the show before, but let me scroll up right here. Backblaze is, they do their hard drive reliability reviews. And what Backblaze's hard drive reliability reviews say is that some drives fail a lot more than others. In fact, if we take a look at this, right, so Hitachi Global Storage Technology, which is now a wholly owned subsidiary of WDC, 1.55%, 0.84%. These Seagate drives here, 10.6%. Not all of them, but some of them. There's a Western Digital drive that failed at like 10% and at a high of 18%. That's
a lot of info.
That's a lot of info. And what's really crazy is if you dig down even farther, you look at the ones where they've just removed them out of service.
What?
Yeah,
what?
23.86%, 28.34. Well,
that's a quarter.
That's a quarter. That's more than a quarter in that case. But those may have been in service for a very, very long time. And remember, Backblaze has a data center, 56,224 spinning hard drives containing customer data in 1,249 Backblaze storage pods. You probably don't stuff dozens of hard drives in a single enclosure, and you probably don't have AC and monitoring services running 24 hours a day. So these are probably run and installed very differently from the storage drive in your desktop. But the data basically says the most reliable drives out there are Hitachi Global Storage Technologies drives, which is a subsidiary of WD now, and those ones with the crazy low rates were the HDSD Megascale DC4000. So it's 136 bucks, and apparently has a fantastic reliability rate. I talked to, I pinged Alan Malventano from PC Perp because the man lives and dies by hard drives. And one of the things we talked about is like, look, he's had a lot of Seagate drives fail. Yeah. He personally buys Western Digital. I personally generally drive Western Digital. But I've got, like I said, I've got drives that are 5 or 7 years old of both Western Digital and Seagate. So do yourself a favor. Alan says you should buy 2 drives whenever you buy one, and they're cheap enough now.
Especially if you see a sale, might as well just get 2.
Yeah, or the other thing is buy a drive, have it backed up, and if and when it dies, it probably shouldn't, but in some cases, some drives, just things go wrong, and a whole lot of them drive, either because of an engineering or a manufacturing error, just a whole huge percentage of drives fail sometimes. You've got it backed up. Make sure you're backed up. Make sure you're backed up. Make sure you're
backing up is so important, especially if you live in an area that has like natural disasters, for example. You never know when a tornado might hit your house.
Or an earthquake.
Or an earthquake.
So make sure there's a backup off-site.
Yes.
Because if you have both 3, 2, 1, 3 backups on 2 different media, at least one off-site. Boy, haven't said that in at least a week and a half. Good question, though. Thank you so much for that. Will watched our build video on photography skills and posted on patreon.com/TekThing. You can watch that video if you're a patron, by the way. He says, I have 2 photography tips. 1, put a 1/4 by 20-inch eye bolt and a length of 550 paracord with a loop in it in your camera bag. It works as a makeshift monopod, like this. And he's got a link to it in Instructables. And number 2, always put a clear UV or skylight filter on your lens. It may be hard to remember what f-stop it is, but it's easy to remember that filters are cheaper than lenses. Good
From
stuff,
Will. Yes, thank you so much. Filters are great to add different modifications to your pictures before even thinking about editing them in Lightroom, for example, because you're actually doing it on your camera, not on the file itself. So filters are usually like a very simple piece of glass or plastic. It's a disc that you would screw onto the front of your lens. They end up protecting your lens from getting scratched or broken, but it can also add color correction. It can add distortions if you're going for like a specific feel in your pictures.
Artistic distortions.
Yeah, you can get really artsy with filters. I don't get very artsy. For example, the one that I use is right here. So this one that I use is a very, very simple filter, but hey, it works. It's just a clear UV haze multi-resistant coating filter. So I just use it to protect my lens. But you can find the right size. Yeah, it's sacrificial, exactly. You can find the right size by looking at the lens. There's a number printed on the lens that will match up with the millimeters of whatever filter that you're planning on buying. So just make sure you get the right size. I've definitely bought the wrong size before.
Hate that. And also, like most pocket cameras, you can't screw a filter on the lens. But are you demonstrating the actual?
I am. So you made this for me. I'm loving this. So this would be the tripod that he is talking about.
Might need to shorten it up a little bit.
Might need to, but I can do it multiple ways. I can stand with my legs separated a little bit and make it into I guess a bipod.
Okay.
And that holds it steady. Or I can just use it as a monopod. So I put
slide this down.
So I can put 1 foot inside of the string to hold it steady, and then I can take my photos. Or I can also set this up so that it's like stuck against a wall, and then it would turn it into a tripod of sorts.
Yeah.
So I know what he's talking about now, and that is very, very cool.
It takes about 30 seconds.
Takes about 30 seconds, and it doesn't take that much space in your travel bags.
No, it doesn't.
It's cool.
And that's one more piece of paracording. In case everything goes pear-shaped. Don't forget, people, once in a while, put down the phone, step away from the screen, close the laptop, and do something analog. Like get your mini golf on.
Mini golf?
Mini golf.
I love me some mini golf.
I forgot what mini golf is like with a 3-year-old. They don't keep score, and they want to wail on that thing.
Yeah.
But once you get them under control, they're awesome. Mini golf, it's back, people. It's back.
Dude,
we're in California, so it's here first, except for the Jersey Shore. And everywhere else it's been the entire time. Right. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
There's this great mini golf place in North Carolina where my family does their beach trip, and they have like pirates and stuff all set up, and like a little fake pirate ship that you have to hit your golf ball through. It's fun.
Built one in a storefront in Alameda, and it's got like the giant windmills from out on 580 and the Golden Gate Bridge and the Haight and all these other different crazy things.
Aw, that's cute.
So,
Alameda, really?
yeah.
I gotta go there.
Right down the street from the Vintage Arcade.
What?
Which is at the other end of the island from the Pinball Museum.
Ooh.
Alameda.
Man, I really need to spend some time down in Alameda. I haven't been to any of those yet.
Too.
Yeah?
East End Pizza. Sweet. A great Thai play across Thai play.
Ooh, I love Thai.
I had the best green curry the other night.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Hungry. We record right before lunch, so occasionally if we look a little wild-eyed, it's because we're desperately hungry, and Shannon has her
I get hangry.
Frappuccino issue.
It's not an issue.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice.